Hello, we are here today to record the oral histories for the Pasadena Museum of History's Where History Meets the Road, Celebrating Route 66 and Colorado Boulevard exhibition on view June 13th, 2026 through January 24th, 2027. It is 10:18 on May 13th, 2026. In the room, we have Lyle Johnson as videographer, Natalie Riddick as interviewer, and we are here today with Fred Hill. How are you today, Fred?
I'm doing great.
Wonderful. Could you please state your full name for the recording?
Okay, it's T. Frederick Hill.
Wonderful. And how old are you, Fred?
I'm 83.
Wonderful. And where did you grow up?
I actually grew up in the Pasadena area. I was born in East LA. I grew up in San Gabriel and Lone Pine, California. Two places.
Awesome. And what is your occupation?
Occupation today, I am a merchant, an entrepreneur or retailer.
Okay. Tell me about your store.
Well, the store itself started in 1951. I purchased the store from the first owners in 1976. So this year, 2076, is my 50th year of owning the store, and it's the 75th year of the store being in existence in Pasadena.
Awesome. And what is the name of the store?
It's the original Whistle Stop,
Awesome.
a model train store.
And can you tell me about the founding of the store?
Oh boy, founding of the store. Well, it started as a small, what I call a mom and pop store. Ed was a post office employee, and he was interested in model trains. Irene liked dolls, so they decided to form a little hobby shop selling dolls and trains, and that was in 1951. I met them in 1966, 67, as I was a model railroader, so I started coming to their store and buying merchandise. And how did it happen? About in 1976, Ed and Irene decided they wanted to retire. And at that time, I was a calling officer for United California Bank. And a calling officer, basically, his job is to do whatever the chairman of the board wants done for the corporation. So I traveled quite a bit, and I had accumulated a lot of extra time, call it overtime, but corporate officers weren't getting vacation pay or anything, so we had time off. So Ed and Irene had been in business approximately 20 years, and they had never taken a vacation since they owned the store when Ed retired. So a very important event was coming up, which was the celebration, the 100th year celebration of the Transcontinental Railroad, which is taking place at Promontory Point, and Ed really wanted to go. And I said, well, why don't you take the time off and go, and I'll run the store. He says, you know anything about retailing? I said, no, but I figured it out. So I convinced them to take a train ride to Promontory Point in 1969, I'm sorry. And that was the first vacation they'd had since they started the store in 1951, and really enjoyed it, which is good. And I got a great experience of how to run a retail store, which is very good too. So over the years, from 69 forward, I started working there whenever I had time from my regular job. I just fill in there and giving them time to take vacations and such. In 1976, Ed and Irene decided they were going to retire and wanted to sell the store. So with my banking experience, they asked me to do what's called the first quals, or who's qualified to buy the place. So as I started looking at these people wanting to buy the place and looking at the store and looking at the financial history, I thought, you know, it's time for me to make a change in my life. So I approached Ed and Irene about buying the store, and they accepted my terms. So July 4th, 1976, I ended up the owner of the original Whistle Stop. And that's when the fun began for me. And it's been an enjoyable ride ever since. So like I say, this year, 2026, is my 50th year, but it's the 75th year of the store itself. So we're celebrating two celebrations, 75 years of being in operation and 50 years of my operation.
That's wonderful. And what drew you to the store in the first place as a visitor and then as an owner?
Well, you got to say, when I was 5 years old, I got my first model train, so that was a seed. And no, it's just the model railroading is a great hobby, and I've really enjoyed being part of that with owning a store. I also began manufacturing my own line of model trains itself, and I've been doing that for 45 years.
And do you have consistent visitors, people that have come to view the store as part of their life as well? Have they impacted you in your 50 years?
Well, you know, model railroading attracts a lot of people of all interests, all educations, and all professions. I mean, I've had Stephen Hawking's in my store at one time. He's paid a couple visits there when he was alive. I had many movie celebrities that have been in the store. Some very prominent professional business people have been in the store. I know at one time I had a great relationship with Rich Schneider, who owned In-N-Out Hamburgers before he passed away. So, I mean, there's been a lot of relationships that I've developed with people in the store. The store itself, I'm not just a merchant. I've developed a lot of friendships, and no one that comes in my store is a stranger after the first visit.
Yeah, that's wonderful. What do you believe the legacy of the store is today after so many years in celebrating?
Wow. You know, we've, through the store, I personally have done a lot of things, but the store itself has accomplished a lot of great milestones, I think. It's, like I say, been in existence for 75 years. I consider that a great milestone. And like I say, we've developed a lot of personal relationships with all of our customers. So I think that's the legacy of the store. It may be called a mom and pop, but it's a very friendly mom and pop.
That's wonderful. And the store originating on Colorado Boulevard, what was it like witnessing the change in Pasadena itself as the business has continued to stand the test of time?
Well, you know, it's on Route 66, and it
Yeah.
always has been on Route 66, which has attracted a lot of people. I know another claim to fame of the store. It has been mentioned in a TV show quite often as the uppity train store. So it's just, over the years, the store itself has created its own history. It's become its own self. So it's my job as a caretaker to keep it going, keep the legacy going of the original Whistle Stop.
That's amazing. And what connection do you think the store has to Route 66 as a part of railroad and California history?
Well, if you think about it, there used to be trolleys that ran down Colorado Boulevard. And I remember sometime in about 88, 89, they were repaving Colorado, and they discovered railroad tracks in the middle of the street. And of course, there were some people that didn't know what they were. And of course, we all laughed because we knew those are the old trolley tracks going to the Lamanda Park Station, which again, Lamanda Park Station had disappeared to put the freeway in. But a lot of people don't know that that was a great movie prop for one of the best Christmas films that has been around, and that's It's a Wonderful Life. That's the old Bedford Falls train station, which was Lamanda Park. So there's a lot of history that the store itself knows about by its employees and myself, so it's kind of fun sharing that.
Yeah. Do you have any more stories like that? That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And do you have any more stories like that about the store?
I could go on forever with stories.
I want to hear it. Please tell me.
Where do we begin? No, at the store itself, like I say, it may be a shop, but it has a life of its own. And it's always fun when a person comes in. I can remember when Kelsey Grammer came in at one time, and he was just looking for a train set for his grandson. And you know, before we knew it, he had this empire for himself that he had developed. Boy, there's a Nobel Prize winner that needed a distraction. He was a physicist at Caltech, and he needed something to do. He just came in the store, just wandering around, and he said, "This is kind of fun. What do you do with these things?" So we explained to him what you do with these things. And before you knew it, he had developed what he called a very relaxing escape from his endeavors. So he really enjoyed model railroading. There are a lot of doctors that are very good with their hands, that love creating things and building things. And they found that that's good for their hand dexterity and everything, that they build models. One of my favorite stories is about Rod Stewart likes building models. And when he goes, or used to go on tour, that he would rent the room next to him at the hotel, and he would put his model shop in there so he could build models. And Phil Collins, of course we know who he is, he's an actor, he wanted to quit smoking. So Rod just tossed him a couple kits and says, "Build these, mate," you know. And Phil Collins got interested in model trains. So it's kind of fun. It's been a fun business, getting to know people like that and getting their trust. It's been very enjoyable.
That's great. And how many people would you say come into the store maybe accidentally or not with any prior knowledge of model trains?
The store itself has almost become half museum, half model train store, because I like collecting what they call railroad memorabilia. So it has tail signs of trains of the past that started in the 30s, and they're of course long gone, but their signature tail signs are hanging in the store. You know, people walk in, they've heard about the store. It's amazing why they walk in the store, but they walk around, they look around, they'll spend an hour there, and then they leave. So, but we do engage with them, and they come from all over the world. They've heard about the store, or my dad told me about the store, or when I was a kid, I came in this store, and now I'm coming in with my kids. So it's been a long journey of people coming in the store. Why they come in, I still haven't found that answer, but I enjoy it.
That's great. That's wonderful to hear about families coming in, new generations returning to the store. That's really wonderful as part of the store's legacy in Pasadena. How would you say the store embodies the community spirit of Pasadena itself as a city?
Well, boy, you got some tough questions there. You know, the store over the years, being part of Pasadena, has become a landmark. And a landmark is just like a reference point. It's not the landmark because it's something special, but it's a reference point. I know new businesses come in and they always refer to their customers saying, "Oh, we're 2 doors down from the Whistle Stop," or "We're right near the Whistle Stop." So we become a reference point. So that kind of is nice. And I know the city of Pasadena a couple years ago recognized the fact that my store is one of the oldest continuing businesses in Pasadena. And I got a nice resolution from the city of Pasadena that I proudly display right in the store.
That's wonderful. And talking about the store's connection to Route 66, what was it like when Route 66 was active? How did it affect tourism and travelers coming to visit the store? What was that time like?
I really don't know the answer to that, but Route 66, even when I was a kid, we're all familiar with the neon signs and the motels. I remember the Wigwam Motel and then all of the little gas stations along the route. And I know our store has got an animated neon sign that when I moved from East Pasadena, more towards the central part of Pasadena, the city had a ban on neon, and I had to get a special resolution from the city of Pasadena to put the sign back up. And it was quite a challenge, and I got to meet my city councilman and got to know him very well. But in the course, we got the sign back up on Route 66, and that was the main reason why the city let us put the sign up, because it originally was on Route 66, and we just moved it onto Route 66. So that was very important to us to be part of Route 66. And also because of that, there's been a lot of books written on Route 66. And it's been brought to my attention that our neon sign is in quite a few of these books as one of the remaining, signs, neon signs of that era when Route 66 was the main thoroughfare to Pasadena.
That's great. And you mentioned off camera you were gifted a watercolor painting of the sign.
Yes, it was about 10, 15 years ago. A friend of mine said, Fred, I've got a gift for you. And he brought in this watercolor of our neon sign. And it was just a local artist and painted the sign and really enjoyed it. So it's been hanging in my office for 15, 20 years. And I thought I'd share that with you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
It's a great painting of the sign, and it's something I really cherish.
That's wonderful. Going into this anniversary year of your store, as well as Route 66 and Colorado Boulevard, what hopes do you have for the future of the store?
Well, it'll be there as long as I'm here. Future, business has changed a lot. The internet has brought a lot of change to businesses, and I know we hear the story of the demise of mom and pop stores, and it is true, it's happening. It's a struggle sometimes, but you have to learn to adapt, and you have to take part in the internet. You have to embrace the internet. You have to embrace what's called social media now. Hopefully, a lot of the younger generation today, they're really attuned to that. The influencers and things like that. I know we have model train clubs in all over Southern California. And there was one club that is open once a year for their open house. And they'd attract about 100, 150 people. Well, one afternoon, an influencer, just it was about a year ago, came in and filmed this, and before you knew it, they had 1,000 visitors. So it's very important that, you have to embrace and you have to change with the world. You can't just be, a mom and pop store. You have to go out and develop yourselves too. So you have to keep up with the times, so to speak.
Yeah, no, that's a great mentality. And I think that's really exciting that there is an intergenerational component to the store. Younger people are interested in having these clubs. That's really wonderful. Speaking of that, one more question is, how does the store contribute to the model train community? And you kind of mentioned the conferences, but what is it like being part of that like community of people?
I hear this talk from a lot of people, about their jobs, and I have a job, okay? But I've always said if I wake up in the morning and don't want to go to work, it's time to change your profession. I wake up in the morning and look forward to going to work. So you talk about continuing, or you talk about, what is the future. As long as I'm around, I'm having fun.
That's great. Well, that is all the questions I have for you today. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. This was wonderful.
Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity. I didn't know what to expect, but it's kind of fun talking about the business. It really is, and talking about the legacy and talking about being part of Pasadena and Route 66. I mean, there's so much history in this town. I love Pasadena.
Yeah, and we're so excited to celebrate your story as part of Pasadena history.
Well, I thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. All right. You're good. Thank you.
Okay.
That was wonderful.